Hey lovely people, welcome back once again to another episode of Stitches Biz collection. I'm Miss Stitches. In this video I'm going to share with you how to make this beautiful beaded bag out of a table mat. Yes, a table mat. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button. Let's get started. Materials needed. So you cut your fish line, and I'm using 0.70 millimeters. So you cut it and make sure it's long enough. Make sure you have the ends of the fish line. Then you pick 6 beads. Fix on any side of the fish line, but I'm fixing it on the right fish line. So you fix all 6 beads on the right fish line, and then you cross with a seed bead. So you cross with the seed bead, which is the first bead or the last bead you fixed on the fish line. Then you pull it out. Then you have your first ring. So going on, you fix the bead on this side. You fix 1 bead on the right side of the fish line. Then on the left side you fix 4 beads. So you pick 4 beads and fix on the left side of the fish line. So note, we fixed 1 bead on the right side of the fish line, then you fix 4 beads on the left side of the fish line. Then you cross with the 4th bead. So we are just adding up to 6. So in every round on or in every circle you should have 6 beads. And this is the second ring we have, or the second circle. So you pull it out. This is it. So 1 bead on the right fish line, 4 beads on the left fish line. Then you cross with the 4th bead. Then with the next one you fix 1 bead on the right fish line, 4 beads on the left fish line as well. So this is it. 1 bead on the right fish line, 4 beads on the left fish line. Then you cross with the 4th bead. On the left fish line. You pull it out. Then you have your 3rd ring, also adding up to 6. You then fix 1 bead on the right fish line again, 4 beads on the left fish line again. Then you cross with the 4th bead on the left fish line. You cross with the 4th bead on the left fish line, or the 1st bead on the left fish line. You pull it out as well, also adding up to 6. And then on the right fish line you fix 1 bead. On the left fish line you fix 4 beads again. Then you cross with the 4th bead on the left fish line. You pull it out. And then you have your ring up to 6 again. So with the last batch you fix 1 bead on the right fish line. So you have your 1 bead on the right fish line. Then with the same right fish line you go through this bead. You skip the first one and go through the next bead. We are adding up to 6. So if the middle circle is not up to 6, then you should know there's a 4th somewhere. So you pull it out. And then we have the middle part up to 6 as well. So with this side we have 3 now. So we are going to add 3 beads. So you pick 3 beads, fix on the left fish line. You fix on the left fish line, but you can fix on the right fish line if you are okay, because this time we are turning. So if you are okay, you can fix it on the left fish line or the right fish line. So I fixed it on the left fish line. Then you pull it out. Then this is what you should get. So I'll go through the next bead. This bead, you go through the next 1 bead. Then on the left fish line you fix 4 beads. So we are still adding up to 6. So you fix 4 beads to add it up to 6. So you fix 4 beads on the left fish line, and then you cross with the 4th bead. Still adding up to 6, bear it in mind. So you pull it out. We already have 2, so adding 4 will add up to 6. So you have 6 in the circle now. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next bead as well. So your fish line is out of 2 beads. You add 4 beads on the left fish line to add it up to 6 again. So you fix 4 beads on the left fish line, cross with the 4th bead using the right fish line, then you pull it out. Then you have your next ring adding up to 6. So if you do it and your circles are not up to 6, you will be at fault. Like you have a problem with what you are doing. So you go through the next 2 beads with the right fish line. You go through the next 2 beads. Then this time we have 3, so we are adding up to 6. So we add another 3 on the left fish line. You pick 3 beads, fix on the left fish line, then you cross with the 3rd bead. You pull it out. Then your circle is up to 6. So with the right fish line, you go through the next bead again. Then this time your fish line is out of 2 beads, so you pick 4 beads and on the left fish line, and cross with the 4th bead. So you pick 4 beads, fix on the left fish line, then you cross with the 4th bead. So please notice in mind that anytime you go through 1 bead, you fix 4 beads on the left fish line. But anytime you go through 2 beads, then you fix 3 beads on the left fish line. So we are out of 3 beads now. Then we are going to fix 3 beads on the left fish line, cross it with the 3rd bead, and then add it up to 6. So you cross it with the 3rd bead using the right fish line, pull it out, and then your circle is up to 6 now. And then with the next one, with the right fish line, you go through the next bead out of 2 beads now. Then you fix 4 beads on the left fish line, pull it out, cross with the 4th bead, then you pull it out, still adding up to 6. So this is the method we are using. You should have the formula in your head and you are good to go. So anytime you go through 2 beads, you fix 3 beads on the left fish line and cross with the 3rd bead. Then anytime you go through 1 bead, you fix 4 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the 4th bead. So you go on and weave with the same method until we are done with this round. So when you get to the last part, you go through the next 2 beads, these 2 beads here. You should have your fish line coming out of 3 beads. Then on the left fish line, you fix 3 beads and cross with the 3rd bead. So you fix 3 beads on the left fish line, then cross with the 3rd bead, adding up to 6. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next bead as well. Then your fish line is out of 2 beads now. So on the left fish line, you fix 4 beads. On the left fish line, you fix 4 beads, and then you cross with the 4th bead. And then you start the next round or the next section as well. So with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Then you have your fish line out of 3 beads now. Then on the left fish line, you fix 3 beads and then pull it out. Cross with the 3rd bead, then you pull it out. So this is the method we are using in weaving the whole of this bag. So you just need to get the formula as I said earlier, and then you are good to go. So if there's a mistake somewhere or you don't find your mat line straight, you should know you have done a mistake at a point where maybe you didn't add your bead up to 6. Maybe it's up to 5 or 4 here. So you should check carefully anytime you are weaving. So I'm done with this round and my fish line is short, so I need to pass it through so we can start the last round. So this is what you should have after you are done passing your fish line through, and we are going to weave one more time. So with the new fish line, I go through this bead. So you can start from any part. You can go through 2 beads, you can go through 1 bead, depending on where you're starting from. So you make sure you have the equal ends of the fish line. So you fix 5 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the 5th bead. So you fix 5 beads on the left fish line, you cross with the 5th bead. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Then you fix 3 beads on the left fish line, then you cross with the right fish line. You cross the 3rd bead using the right fish line. So it's the same method as we started with. So if you get the formula as I said earlier, then you can weave on and on. So join me and let's weave on and on till we are done with this round. Okay, I'm done with this round and my fish line is short as well, so I need to pass it through to get a neat work. So this is what we have. This is the exact size I want for my bag. If you don't like the size or it's too small for you, feel free to add another round. So you need 11 of this, which I did off camera. So I have 11 different colors of it. I prefer different colors because I needed to, I just wanted to blend the colors. But if you want to use one color, you are okay to use it. So I have 11 of this, and then we are going to arrange it. Okay, so like a little puzzle bisano obato yeah. So you just arrange it. Watch how I'm arranging. Like I can't tell you to put red here, put white here, put yellow here. Like anyhow or anywhere you want your colors to be, you are good to let it be there. So this is 7. Then we are going to attach the middle part. We are going to join them together. Then with the other one as well, with the other part, which is the back side of the bag, you arrange it this way. So the first one we did was the front side of the bag, and this the other side of the bag as well. So you arrange it this way, and then you join the sides also together. So joining the sides together, you need a new fish line as well, not too long, because with this one, how it's going to be like a style be not too long fish line. So with this new fish line, you go through the next 2 beads here. You can pick any side you want to start with. Then you go through the 2 beads, pull your fish line out, make sure it's equal sides, it has equal length. Then with this side of the fish line, the part coming out, you fix 1 bead on that part. So let me say it on my right side. So on the right fish line, you fix 1 bead. And then with that same fish line, you pick one of the mat. Then you go through the next 2 beads as well. So you skip this one and go through the next 2 beads. You skip the pointed part and go through the next 2 beads. Then you pull it out. This is what you should get. And then you make sure your fish line is equal. Then you pick 1 bead and then you cross with both fish line. Make sure your fish line is equal. We don't want Ghana is longer than Africa here. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. And then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. So that's what you should get. And then you pick 1 bead and then you cross both sides with it. You cross with both fish line. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. Then you pick 1 bead, and then you cross with it. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. Then you pick one bead and then you cross with it. You cross with both fish line, please note. Then this time with the left fish line, you go through the next one bead. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next one bead. Please note this side, you go through the next one bead on both sides of the beads with both fish line. So this is what you should get. And then with the right fish line, I fix one bead. With the right fish, depending on where you want to turn to, so you can fix it on the left fish line if you are okay with it. So I fix one bead, and then with that same fish line, I pick another mat and go through this bead. Then you go through the next one bead on the other mat. Then, so this is what you should have. Then you pick one bead. You pick one bead and then you cross with both fish line. So remember, we are still adding up to 6. And then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. Then you pick one bead again and cross with both fish line. You pull it out. And then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. With the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. Pick another one bead and then you cross with it. So with this method, we are joining the sides together, or we are joining the mats together. So after you've gone through the 2 beads on each side of the mat with both fish line, you pick one bead and then you cross with it, adding up to 6. Then when you get to the last 10, you go through the next one bead. And then we are going to join the last part to it again. So on the left fish line, depending on where you want to turn to, so you can choose to fix the one bead on the right fish line or the left fish line. So I fixed it on the left fish line. Then with that same fish line, I go through this bead. So this one bead from the pointed side, like the single beads, they go through those beads. So I went through that bead, and then I pick one bead again, and then I cross with it. So you pick one bead and then you cross with it. Then with the right fish line, go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, go through the next 2 beads as well. Pick one bead and then you cross with it. You cross with both fish line. Then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Pick one bead and then you cross with it till you get to the end. So you pick one bead and then you cross with it. You pull it out. Then you pass your fish line through. So this is the last part, so you just have to pass your fish line through. And then with the other sides, you are going to join that side together as well. So this time you can weave from the inside to the outside, or from the outside to the inside, anyhow you want, weave it. So with the new fish line, you cut a new fish line, not too long, then you go through these 2 beads as we started with. You go through the 2 beads, please watch carefully, and then you have it this way. On this fish line, you fix one bead. Then with the same fish line, you go through the next 2 beads here. Please watch carefully and see the beads I'm going through with my fish line. So you pull it out. You make sure your fish line is equal. This is what you should get. So this one is weaving from the outside to the inside. Then with the other side, you weave from the inside to the outside. So you pick one bead and then you cross with both fish line. Then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. Then you pick one bead again. Then you cross with both fish line. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. pick one bead and then you cross with it as we joined the first part. So with the right fish line, you go through the next 3 beads. Then with the left fish line, you go through the next 3 beads as well. So both fish lines should come out of the 3rd bead. Then you pass the excess fish line through. So both fish lines should come out from this bead, the 3rd bead. Then you pass the excess fish line through. So you are going to weave from the inside to the outside as well. So with a new fish line as well, you need to cut a new fish line, not too long. You go through these 5 beads, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. You go through those 5 beads. To the last one, then you pull it out. Please make sure your fish line is equal. You have equal ends of the fish line. This is what you should get. So you should have your fish line going through or coming through the 5 beads, and then you pick one bead, then you cross with both fish line. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. Pick one bead again, then you cross with both fish line. So it's the same method we used in joining the sides of the bag. Okay, so you do that till you get to the end. So there we go, we have it now. So we are done joining the pieces. What I say, like what join inside say together, or what be now. So you just have to pass your excess fish line through the beads to get a knit work. So after you are done passing the fish line through, this is what you get. And this is the front side of the bag, which is the table mat that we did. I have a video of it, so I'll drop the link in the description box so you can watch later. Then you can increase the size if this is too small for you. I have no problem with it. So this is the front side and this is the back side of the bag. So we're about to join those sides together to get the full shape of the bag, or to complete it. So first we are going to join these 2 sides and then the other side as well. So with a new fish line again, we are going to join the sides together. So not too long fish line, you go through these 2 beads here, go through these 2 beads. Please watch carefully the beads I go through so you won't make any mistake. You make sure your fish line is equal. I always say this. Then with this fish line, you fix one bead. And then with that same fish line, you go through the next 2 beads from the black mat. You go through 2 beads from the other side as well. Then you should have that one bead in the middle of both sides. So this is what you should get. Then you should be careful with the beads I went through. Then you pick one bead, then you cross with both fish line. So you pick one bead, you cross with the right fish line, you cross with the left fish line. Then this is what you get. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. Then you pick one bead again, then you cross with it. You cross with both fish line. Then still with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Pick one bead and then you cross with it again. Then still with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Pick one bead, and then you cross with it again. So as you can see, you are getting this curvy shape, pointed shape, something there, no, what you are seeing. So you just have to pass your fish line through after you are done with this side. Then we are going to join the other side as well. So with the new fish line, you go through the next 2 beads from the black side, or let me say from one side. Then with this fish line, you pick one bead. Then with that same fish line, you fix the bead. You go through the next 2 beads from the other side as well. So from the let me say military color side or the soldier color side, you go through next 2 beads from that side. Then you pick one bead, then you cross with it. You cross with both fish line. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. Then you pick one bead again, then you cross with both fish line. Then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Pick one bead, and then you cross with it, and then go through the next 2 beads with both fish line again. Then for the last time, you pick one bead, and then you cross with it. So after you are done, you just have to pass your fish line through because your fish line is short. So this is the base of the bag we've done. This is the base of the bag. As you can see, it's nicely formed. So you are going to attach the back side or the front side to it. Anyhow you want to, you want to place it, or I don't know, you want to call it, yeah. So I'm saying it's the back side. So with a new fish line, I go through these 2 beads. Please watch carefully the bead I go through. You make sure you have equal sides of the fish line. Then on this fish line, which is the side pointing out, you fix one bead on that side. Then with that same fish line, you pick the other side of the bag, then you go through the next 2 beads on that same side as well. You are joining it together, so you have to be careful so one side won't be longer than the other, otherwise you can get the correct work. So this is how it should be. Then you still pick one bead, and then you cross with both sides of the fish line. Make sure you are holding the ends of the fish line so you get equal length of it. Osimo Ghana is longer than Africa. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. Then you pick one bead, then you cross with both fish line. You pull it out. Please make sure you pull it out very well to make it tight, because that will make your bag to stand firm. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Pick one bead, and then you cross with it. So this method is simple. Just as we joined the size of the, let me say, cap mat here, that is the same method we are using here. Then you pick one bead, and then you cross with both fish line. You pull it out. Then this time with the right fish line, you go through the next 1 bead. With the left fish line, you go through the next 1 bead, and then pick another bead, and then you cross with it. So this is what you should get at the side, at the pointed sides. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. Pick one bead, and then you cross with it. And then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads again. With the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads. You pick one bead, then you cross it out. So it's the same method we are using. So please stay with me. Let's weave on with the same method. Okay, so when you get to this side, for you not to get confused, you go through the next 3 beads here with the right fish line, 1, 2, 3, and then with the left fish line you go through just 1 bead. So with the right fish line you go through 3 beads, with the left fish line you go through just 1 bead. That is when you want to turn and weave to the other side. Then you pick 1 bead and then you cross with it. So we are still adding up to 6. So if you do something and your circle or your ring is not up to 6, you should know you are at 4th. Then with the same method you weave on and on. So stick with me and let's weave on. So we are done joining the side together, and with your excess fish line you have to pass it through to make your bag firm. Okay, so if your bag is soft you just have to pass a fish line through it or some fish line through it, and then you are good to go. So this is the bag, and we need to weave some handle to make the bag nice or to make the bag complete. So with a new fish line you go through 1 2 3 1 2 3, you go through those beads, then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with both fish line. So let me say that's the foundation of the handle. You go through 3 beads, you pick 1 bead, and then you cross with both fish line. Make sure your fish line is equal. So this is what you should get. Then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line. So you pick 3 beads, fix 2 beads on the left fish line. If you are comfortable with going to the right direction, you can fix 2 beads on the right fish line. That is if you are okay with it. Then you cross with the 3rd bead. So you fix 2 beads on the left fish line, then you fix the 3rd bead on the right fish line, then you cross with it. So you cross with the 3rd bead. This is what you should get after you are done with the first process. Then you pick 3 beads again, fix 1 bead on the left fish line, fix 1 bead on the right fish line now, then you cross with the 3rd bead. So this time you fix 1 bead on the right fish line, fix 1 bead on the left fish line, then you cross with the 3rd bead. You pull it out. Please pull it out very well so the handle will be firm. Then on the right fish line, you fix 1 bead on the right fish line. Then with that same fish line, which is the right fish line, you go through this bead from the first ring you did. So you go through that bead and make sure you pull the fish line very well to make it tight. Then you pick 1 bead, then you cross with both fish line. You pick 1 bead, you cross with both fish line. Please pull your fish line tight, like make sure you pull it well for it to be tight, otherwise your handle won't be firm. So this is what you should get. You should get 3 beads at the top. So this one we are doing a triangle shaped beaded bag handle. So you fix 3 beads on the left fish line and then you cross with the 3rd bead. You fix 3 beads on the left fish line, you cross with the 3rd bead, you pull it out. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next bead here Then you fix 2 beads on the left fish line again. Then you cross with the second bead. You still pull it out to get your fish line firm. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads here. Then you fix 1 bead and cross with both fish line. So you still pull it out to make sure it's firm. Then you fix 3 beads on the left fish line again. You cross with the third bead or the last bead. You still pull it out. Then with the right fish line, you go through the next 1 bead, fix 2 beads on the left fish line again and cross with the second bead. Pull it out, and then with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads, fix 1 bead on the right fish line, then you cross with both sides. Okay, so you fix 1 bead, then you cross with both sides of the fish line. So this is what you should be getting. You should get a triangle shape as you are weaving on. So this is the method we are using throughout the making of the handle. So you should just get the first step and you are good to go. So we are going to continue weaving until our handle is long enough, like the size I'm okay with. So if mine is short for you or you want it long, you can still continue and weave till you can join it to the other side of the bag. So this is the exact length I want for my handle. That is for me. But if you want yours to be long, or you should have it long enough, you can still continue weaving till you are okay with the length. So we are now going to join it to the other side. So please note, when you are going to join it to the other side, you have to make sure it's lying straight, like the sides are equal. So with the right fish line, you go through the next 2 beads, and then with the left fish line, you go through the next 2 beads as well. So you should have both fish line coming out of the cream bead in the middle. That is what I'm trying to say. You should make sure you have both fish line coming out of the cream color bead in the middle. Then you pull it out carefully. You pull it very tight, like you make sure your fish line or that side is very firm, because that side is the root or the foundation for the handle to stand. So after you are done, you pass the fish line through. Please take your time and pass them through very well. Then you pass all excess fish line through to make sure your bag is neat. Then you can pass an extra fish line on the first side that we made, so you get that side also firm. Then weave a second handle for the other side as well. So I'm done passing my fish line through, and I'm done making the second handle as well. So I use the same method as we did with the first handle we made. So you have your beautiful bag done. You can choose to make a locker for it or use the magnet lock, or you just leave it that way. And we are done with our colorful beaded bag. So easy to do. And this bag, as I said earlier, we got it out of a table mat. Yes, a table mat. If you want to see more of my tutorials, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you comment and share as well. Do well to follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you'll be notified anytime I upload a video. Thank you. See you in my next video. Have a nice day. Au revoir.